What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live for your NFL Week 4 review, recap, and reaction to the biggest storylines of week number 4, the biggest games, and my takeaways from the games this week in the NFL. Before I break down those games, those stories, and my thoughts on week 4 of the 2021 NFL season and what I personally learned about the NFL this week, make sure that you do. You know what's coming. Gronk, spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV reactions and recaps just like this. And also Gronk, spike that notification bell to know when I'm live, just like I am right now, just like I am every Sunday for the biggest games across the NFL. Appreciate all you guys tuning in to those live streams every single Sunday. We're going to keep the train rolling, and I think this week, week number 5, we're actually going to do a live stream on Thursday. At least I plan on doing a live stream on Thursday Night Football because we do have a good game, the Rams and the Seahawks. So I think I'm going to do the game for that one and give you my analysis. And if you guys don't already tune in to those, you probably should. It's pretty fun in there in the live chat. So make sure you check that out. And this is the recap for week number 4. Appreciate all you guys being here on a late night. If you're watching this in the morning, appreciate you as well. Let me know if you're watching this in the morning. Get in that comment section and let me know what your takeaway was from week number 4 of this season. What's going on, Bethel, Lenny, Isaac, Qui-Gon, and Rashawn? What's going on, guys? All right. Let's hit that Lenny intro. And let's get to my takeaways for week 4. Mac Jones is my favorite quarterback in the 2021 NFL Draft. San Francisco 49ers are legit contenders in 2019. Tom Brady is going to win the Super Bowl with the Bucs this year. Here we are. All right. So, as we do every week, guys, let's get to that Monday night. What's going on, Nathan? What's going on, Hector? Let's get to that Monday Night Football reaction, and then we'll get immediately to the top 10 teams heading into week number 5 of the 2021 NFL season. This is your BLV Weekly Review, a.k.a. The Bottom Line. All right. So, BLV GOATs. I almost forget every week, but this time I didn't forget to put it in my notes. So we do have the shout out to the GOATs, and you could become a GOAT on BLV Patreon. All right, the link is in the description. If you are a top tier subscriber to the TheBottomLineView Patreon, you will get a shout out every single Monday night here on the show. Shout out to Connor McLeod, Bodo Winter, Katana, and Ronald Smith, who are the biggest supporters of the BLV, the GOATs. So shout out to the GOATs, and shout out to all of you who support the channel. All right. Monday Night Football. So what were my takeaways from the Raiders and the Chargers? Of course, this was a big AFC West rivalry game, a big AFC West showdown between Justin Herbert and Derek Carr, arguably two of the best quarterbacks so far in the NFL this 2021 NFL season. I think we saw first and foremost that the Chargers are legitimately not just a good team, but I think legitimately a great team, because for a majority of this game, they dominated this game. You know, there was a period where the Raiders made a little bit of a comeback. They surged right after halftime. They scored a couple touchdowns to get within a score. But the Chargers defense stood tall in the third and fourth quarter. They did not allow a very good offense with the Raiders. That is a very good offense in Las Vegas to score over 14 points in this Monday Night Football game. That is extremely impressive. They had a good performance versus Kansas City. This week, they had a spectacular performance versus the Raiders offense that I think's been one of the best, scheme-wise, one of the best quarterbacks in Derek Carr, and they did a great job across the board. They shut down Darren Waller. Derwin James did a fabulous job, spectacular job. Hunter Renfrow got a little bit of his, Henry Ruggs hit him with the big play, but for the most part, they kept those plays to a minimum. The run game didn't go off the way it has in recent weeks versus Dallas and, even a little bit with the Chiefs and in week 1 with Washington. But I felt like the Chargers defense turned it up another notch. They continue to get better. And Justin Herbert at the beginning of the game was making throw after throw. They were running the ball when they wanted to. And I think that's the biggest thing we saw from the Chargers this week that carried over from last week. When they needed to have it, when they needed to run the ball out, when they needed to chew the clock, Austin Eckler, the run game, got it going and sealed them that game. Now, on both sides, there were things that impressed me. I think, coming away from this game, people may look at the Raiders as a team that are a pretender. But personally, I actually was still impressed in elements from the Raiders. Now, Derek Carr didn't play his best game. Darren Waller didn't play his best game. This offense certainly didn't play their best game. But I think a lot of the credit goes towards Brandon Staley, his defense, and the defensive playmakers there in Los Angeles. Specifically, Joey Bosa, the front seven getting pressure on Derek Carr, as well as the secondary. Guys like Derwin James, Nasir Adderley, and Michael Davis, I thought had good games. Overall, though, you look at the Raiders. I thought their defense, man, the Raiders defense played extremely hard. I think we learned that they may be a legitimate unit. They've lost a lot of players, but they continue to come in and they continue to play hard and they continue to play fast and they continue to play physical. That was one of my biggest takeaways from the entire game, was not just that the Chargers are a potentially great upper echelon AFC contender and, in my personal opinion, the best team in the AFC West right now. They are the best team in that division right now. That includes the Chiefs. They're the best team in the AFC West. I think from what we've seen, they are 3-1. They beat the Chiefs. They've now beaten the Raiders convincingly. They beat the Dallas Cowboys, a very good team, a top 10 team in their own right. And they beat Washington. So, they lost to the Cowboys by a field goal. That was a very close game. That's the only game they've lost, right? And they beat, who else? I keep forgetting. But anyways, Chargers overall have been very close to being undefeated. And I think this game, they continue to just get better with the coaching every single week. Brandon Staley, another takeaway for me. Brandon Staley, I think what won them this game, there was an element there. There was a part of this game. There was a time in this game where the Raiders could have easily tied the game. But Brandon Staley continued to put the foot on the gas. They went for it on 4th down on 2 consecutive drives, and they got both of them, right? I think they got stopped on the first drive, but then the second drive ended up being really the game-clinching drive. If he punts there, he gives another opportunity for Derek Carr to potentially tie this game. There was a stretch in this game where the Raiders had like 3, 4, 5 opportunities and series in a row where the Raiders defense was playing really well. And they were stuffing and stopping the Chargers. But Brandon Staley, with those 4th down conversions and the gambles and the balls, again, to go for that, I think is just proven again how good of a coach and how much of a difference maker he has been to this team this year. Again, I said it last week. He's already an elite coach to me. It's not just because of the scheme. It's also because of the confidence that he gives this team, that he gives his quarterback, but also the in-game decisions, the in-game management, the understanding of what his team needs to do, when to go for it, when not to go for it, when to call a trick play, when not to call a trick play. I just feel like Brandon Staley, for such a young head coach, already gets it. And you can tell. This is the first time this year that John Gruden has been outcoached. John Gruden has outcoached every team he's played this year. Every coach he's played this year, he has outcoached them. Brandon Staley outcoached John Gruden. He did. So to me, the difference between the Chargers being the Chargers and the Chargers being really a good team this year a real threat this year has been Brandon Staley and the identity that he gives this team. Again, impressed by the Raiders defense, though. Max Crosby continues to be a demon out there. I've been impressed with the rookie Morig out there at safety. I think the cornerback depth has come to play, although, down the stretch it might have hurt them a little bit there. Denzel Perryman was a great addition to the linebacking core, in my opinion. What else? I felt like this game was kind of weird. It was a weird environment. It was kind of feeling like a Super Bowl crowd because the fans were very split. It was a game held in Los Angeles, but LA is a city that traditionally loves the Raiders, as we know, right? If you're a hip hop fan, you know how much LA loves the Raiders. Trust me. So it feels like this was a Super Bowl crowd. And what I mean by that is it was split 50-50. When the Raiders had the ball, the fans were loud. When the Chargers had the ball, the fans were loud. There was never a moment where it was quiet. Usually when the offense gets the ball and you're at home, it's quiet, right? But in this game, it was tense throughout. It was electric throughout. And that gave it kind of a big game feel to me, and it was actually made it a better game, I think, overall. Derek Carr, I think this really showed the flaws of the Raiders in this game. Not necessarily that they played poorly. I didn't think they played their best game per se, and I don't think they're necessarily a pretender, so to speak. But it showed the limitations of the Raiders because so much pressure is on Derek Carr to get it done for the Raiders offense and for the Raiders to win. Without Derek Carr playing at an MVP level, playing like a superstar the way that he has the first 3 weeks, the Raiders would not have won those games. And I feel like the margin for error with the Raiders, and I always speak about margin for error, that includes the quarterback, right? If you have a spectacular defense, if you have a spectacular running game, if you have a spectacular special teams, your margin for error is a lot greater as a quarterback. But if you are carrying your team, right, and your margin for error is a lot slimmer, as a quarterback, you have to continuously push the limits and make plays. And it just feels like if Derek Carr does not play like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, the Raiders are not going to beat the best teams. That's not to say that if he plays average, they can still beat bad teams, because I think that's the case. But when they play really good teams, like the Chargers are, he has to play amazing. And that simply wasn't the case tonight. Henry Ruggs showed up in a big way. Cliff Branch 2.0, my dad said he looked pretty good to me. He's got the speed, the burners, and made a couple big plays. Almost had another big play there where he got by the defense, and you could tell Asante Samuel Jr. was like, whoa, this guy's fast, because he turned immediately and had to run back. That was just, I think those little moments of DBs is when you see when a receiver is really fast, because he was like, holy, I knew this guy was fast, but not that fast. So he had to turn and run back. Obviously, the Raiders have been must-watch television all year long. They're going to continue to be that, as I think they'll fight for a playoff spot this year. But they are going to have to help out Derek Carr a little bit more. And I think the offense needs to become more balanced for them to be more successful. Their run game has kind of gotten away from them in some games here, and they need more from Josh Jacobs down the road. They need more from their offensive line to establish a little bit of balance, because I think too much has been on the right shoulder of Derek Carr. For them to get wins and for them to make the playoffs with 10 wins, 11 wins, they're going to have to get, I think, a little bit more balance there. But I've been impressed with their defense, and I think their defense is legitimately improved. So those are my thoughts from Monday night. The Chargers win. The Chargers prove they're an upper echelon AFC team, NFL contender. Justin Herbert, there's no way around it. There's no doubt about it. The guy is an absolute baller. If you deny it, I don't know what you're watching from week to week. He has all the tools. He's an absolute stud. He's got the arm. He's got the legs, the mobility. He's got the brains. He's got really everything. He makes the big time plays in key moments. He's never really shied away from a big game. And I feel like Herbert has it all. He has the swagger, the confidence. It appears the leadership. And that, I'm telling you, that duo with Staley and Herbert, it's legit. It's as legit gets for a young combo. They're going to be dominant, man, for the next, decade. And we're just going to have to deal with it. I'm pretty happy because I've always traditionally liked the Chargers and cheered for the Chargers. And I think that's just going to be the case for the next decade. They're going to be a really good team and a really good franchise. Now, hopefully, they are aggressive in free agency over the next few years, adding to this team, because I think this team, maybe not this year can win the Super Bowl, maybe they can be a threat in the playoffs, but I think the next 2 to 3 years, the Chargers have a legitimate chance to win the Super Bowl. And if they get a couple big additions to defense, offense, they can do it. And they need to capitalize on Herbert now, because before he gets paid, they need to add big-time playmakers to both sides. I think they can, and we'll see if they do moving forward. But those are my takeaways from Monday Night Football. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Monday night. All right. Next, the Ultra 10. The Ultra Power Rankings. The much hyped, much criticized Ultra Top 10. Let's see what Ultra has for us this week for the top 10 teams in the NFL. By the way, guys, you asked for it. You wanted it. I'm bringing my power rankings. All right? 1 to 32. I'm doing tiers as well tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're getting a video. Power rankings in the NFL. And if that's successful, if you guys support it, I'll be doing power rankings for the rest of the year and continuing moving forward if you guys like that. All right, but this is Ultra's Top 10, which you can exclusively find on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram at TheBottomLineView. Let's see what Ultra has in store. All right, so at number 1, he has the Buffalo Bills. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls, spells the Bills. And they are at number 1. Can they win a Super Bowl this year is the question. Their defense is performing at an elite level right now, locking down the Texans. 0 burger, a donut last week. Dominant. Josh Allen hasn't been his superb self, but he's still been good enough, making enough plays. Their run game seems to be improved. So let's see if the Bills, a lot like last year, right? They were totally different. Josh Allen was really the team last year. Stephon Diggs, that combo. Cole Beasley, the passing game was the identity of the team and carried the team. This year, they're more of a complete team. It has more of a all-around feel. That is a type of team that can win a Super Bowl. So we'll see. Number 2, the Cardinals. He has the Cardinals as the top team in the NFC. What do you guys think about that? Personally, you'll find out in my power rankings tomorrow where I have the Cardinals as the lone undefeated team left in the NFL. Certainly have to give them the respect. But you could argue right now they have the MVP of football, Kyler Murray, who's been superb through the first 4 weeks. And you could also argue they have the most explosive offense in the NFL with a plethora of playmakers and a defense that also makes a ton of plays in their own right. At number 3, the Rams, who just took the L to the Cardinals. The Cardinals got the win over the Rams in impressive fashion. We're going to talk about that and my takeaways from that game. The Buccaneers at number 4, the Super Bowl champs, got a big win. A lot of people are going to say, they just squeaked it out versus the Patriots. Who really cares? We expected them to win. They should have won by more, whatever. No, I think that was an impressive win to go there and do that versus a team that was very motivated in their building, in the rain, where it's really tough to win in New England. We'll talk about that big game. Who won, Brady or Bill? That will be the main event here tonight. Cowboys at number 5, another impressive win over the Panthers, continuing to prove that they're no fluke, continuing to prove that they are by far the best team in the NFC East, and maybe a true contender for the NFC this year. At number 6, the Chargers, who we just spoke about, legitimate AFC team, legitimate AFC contender, as our boy Ultra sees it. They're the number 2 team in the AFC. Very interesting. At number 7, the Packers. Aaron Rodgers playing well. Beat a good defense in the Steelers. Obviously, they had to kind of grind that one out versus a bad offense in the Steelers. But they got the win. They got an impressive win. And I feel like they're going to continue to get the wins moving forward. They feel like just a reliable team. And in this NFL, when a team you can count on wins every week, I feel like that's a top 10 team. At number 8, the Chiefs. The Chiefs, Yes, got back on track. They finally covered. Nice to see. By the way, I called it. Just saying. The Chief hater called it. Just saying. But the Chiefs defense, oh my goodness, it's atrocious. We're going to talk about that. At number 9, the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield needs to get his head out of his you-know-where. We're going to talk about that later on. But the Browns defense is improving with a big win over the Vikings. At number 10, the Ravens are back in the top 10. The Ravens. Lamar Jackson. Another great game. Defeating a Broncos defense that's very tough to beat. Lamar did it with his arm this week. We'll talk about, actually we won't talk about that. That's not one of these topics. But I will say, credit to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I felt, without really his running game being involved, I think he only had like 20-something yards. He made some plays with his arm to get that win. And I will say the Ravens defense is starting to get a lot better. They had a lot of injuries early in the year, and I think Don Martindale has kind of gotten them back on track in that regard. Their pressure's been there. Their coverage has been back, and I feel like the Ravens will continue to be a steady team. I don't really truly believe they're a Super Bowl contender, but it feels like they'll be pretty relevant down the stretch as an AFC playoff team just because of the coaching and the quarterback play, as we expected. So there's your top 10 in the NFL after week 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. All right, guys. Let's get to the topics of the day. All right. We went over that. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Let me pull up my comments real quick. So I got to get everybody reacting to what I'm saying here. I got to see it. It motivates me. All right. No Patriots in the top 10, unfortunately. No Patriots in the top 10. All right, here we go. Good night, Ultra. See ya. Ultra goes to bed at 5 a.m. usually, and now he's leaving. Okay. Leave my guy Danny Dimes alone. You guys criticize Daniel Jones. You say Daniel Jones is a bust. You say Danny Dimes is the problem with the G-men. Daniel Jones has been really good this year. This is one of the least talked about storylines in the NFL right now. According to Pro Football Focus, Daniel Jones is the 4th graded quarterback in the NFL. 4th. And you guys want to say and sit here and say Daniel Jones is the reason the Giants aren't good. That's not the reason. You're going to have to go back to the drawing board and find a new reason. All right? Because this week, they beat the Saints. A Saints defense that I will personally say is one of the better ones in the league so far. And Daniel Jones, without Sterling Shepard, without Darius Slayton, with a lackluster O-line, beat the Saints in New Orleans. The Saints were coming back to New Orleans for the first time this year. And Daniel Jones stepped up and made those plays, bro. Daniel Jones, I've been telling you, he has the arm for the downfield balls. We saw one a beauty to Saquon. Saquon is back, ladies and gentlemen. Back. He had a huge game. He burnt right past. He toasted Marshawn Lattimore. He put some butter on that toast, too, with his overtime touchdown. We had Danny Dimes serving it up. Kenny Golladay stepped up huge. Mossing, folks. Mossing him. So, Daniel Jones, it's amazing. You give the guy a number 1 receiver. You give the guy Saquon back. Oh, what do you know? Daniel Jones is good. What do you know? The turnovers go down. What do you know? Daniel Jones can play, man. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He's a good athlete. Daniel Jones is legitimately one of the best runners. You guys are going to laugh. Daniel Jones is one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. He is. So he stresses you with his legs. He stresses you with his arm. And he's consistently this year made big plays. I just don't get the Daniel Jones hate. There are a lot of problems with the Giants. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of problems. Offensive coordinator, GM, offensive line, pass rusher. But quarterback is not one of them. It is not on the list. If I was counting and I was writing a grocery list for the Giants this offseason, Daniel Jones would not be on it. The quarterback would not be on the list. They've got their quarterback. Now let's help that quarterback with other pieces. All right? And you know another piece they got? Oh boy. They got a speedster. They've got a speedster. His name is John Ross. Yes, sir. His name is John Ross. I told you about John Ross. But I gotta get the receipts out. For John Ross. Because people were telling me John Ross wasn't gonna make an impact with the Giants. They laughed at me. They laughed. Look at this. You guys see this? You can't hype John Ross, but dismiss Pascal, Campbell, and Pittman. This is Kevin Durant, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Durant sleeping on John Ross. John Ross is underrated, guys, but Mecole Hardman sucks. Look at this man hating. I got the receipts. Ultra says, why does Mitch hype John Ross as depth? What do you know? 70-yard touchdown. How about that for depth? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. You are exposed. John Ross. Depth. Legit. All right. Leave my boy Danny Dimes alone, all right? That's all I ask. Move on to somebody else. Blame somebody else for the Giants, all right? Not Daniel Jones. Okay? Anybody but Daniel Jones. Blame me, okay? I don't even care. Just don't blame Daniel Jones. Next. The Cards corral the Rams. And I believe I spelt the word corral right, but I'm not sure. Okay? Because I don't have a dictionary on hand. GSP says, can you dig it? Sucker. All right, here we go. Little Booker T reference. Okay. The Cards statement win. The Cardinals, 1 week after the Rams beat the Bucks. And everyone, including yours truly, including me, was saying the Rams are the best team in football. Maybe we were too quick to say it. Maybe we were too quick to jump on the train, the Rams train, and crown their ass, as Green would say. The great, rest in peace. The Rams got corralled. The Cards whooped that behind. 4 straight years in the NFC West, there has been a different unbeaten team. 4 straight years, there has been a different last undefeated team in the NFC. And 4 straight years, that team has come from the NFC West. This year, it's the Cardinals. That's a pretty spectacular stat, by the way. It just, I think, proves that the NFC West has been the best division in football. and is right now, right? The Cardinals are that team right now. The question is, Mitch, what happened to the Rams? What happened? How did they beat the Bucs and then this week get destroyed by the Cardinals? And are the Cardinals legit? I know that that's what you're wondering, so I'm going to answer these questions. First of all, we talked about it on the Pick Show. It was a trap game for the Rams. They were so hyped up for this Bucs game, man, last week. Their whole season was measuring up to the Bucs. The team that the BLV said could go undefeated. That was their measuring stick. So what happened? It's in their building. They're preparing all of this stuff. Matthew Stafford, his big moment to shine versus Tom Brady. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Sean McVay is celebrating a missed field goal. Did you see Sean McVay celebrating that missed field goal before halftime last week? Once I saw that, I should have known next week they were going to lose. So first of all, it was a trap game for the Rams. They got trapped, as Rob says. They got trapped versus the Cardinals. But that's not all that happened. They got manhandled versus the Cardinals. The biggest difference in the game was the Cardinals, they got pressure on Stafford. They made him uncomfortable. But on the flip side, the real difference in the game was the Cardinals' offensive line, both in pass protection and in the run game. They kept Aaron Donald off of Kyler Murray. They allowed Kyler Murray to be patient in the pocket and take the easy throws. And really, the patience of Kyler Murray was the difference. We saw a Rams defense that I've been saying is overrated. Well, it got exposed. Last week, the Bucs, they shredded it for over 400 yards passing, but they didn't translate that into points. This week, the Cardinals did. They held the ball for an immense amount of time. I don't have the exact stat here. You guys can check that if you like. But they held the ball for long drives, 9-play drives, 10-play drives, 12-play drives. And they really milked the clock. They took it piece by piece. And when they needed to make a big play down the field, they got it. A.J. Green, big play. Max Williams, big play. Chase Edmonds, chunk run. Kyler Murray, big scramble. They did all this in the sequence of the game. But the difference to me was how the offensive line protected Kyler, how they were able to run the ball with Edmonds and Connor when they wanted to, when they needed to, more importantly, and their plethora of their short passing game that sliced and diced up the Rams. The Cardinals right now have supremely exceeded my expectations, supremely impressed me. Because I've been saying Cliff Kingsbury, I'm not sure he's the guy. I'm not sure he's that guy, all right? You're not that guy. I'm not sure that Cliff was that guy. But I think he might be that guy now. Like, Cliff, bro, his offense right now is humming. Like, it's awesome. They bring in Rodney Hudson, one of the best centers in football. He manhandles Aaron Donald like it's his breakfast, all right? But everything, like A.J. Green, D-Hop, Kirk, Rondell Moore, Edmonds, Connor, Max friggin' Williams, all of them were involved in this game. All of them made an impact. All of them made a play. Every single one of them. And Kyler Murray is like the road runner out there. He's like beep, beep, and he just takes off. He's gone. You can't touch him. And I thought the Rams defense, and this is where they missed Brandon Staley. I was very confused by this. They played way too soft. They weren't aggressive enough. They let that umbrella of the pocket really go. When you play a guy like Kyler, you got to watch how the Broncos played Lamar, right? They didn't allow him to get outside the pocket. They didn't allow him to extend plays. They didn't allow him to run around and do his thing that way. The Rams just let Kyler run around, do his thing, beep, beep, this way, beep, beep, that way and just take off and run and extend plays and make plays down the field. And he was doing whatever he wanted. There was a 3rd and 16, I think, in the game where he converted it on a scramble. He had a couple big plays off the scramble drill. And I feel like Brandon Staley not being there, I think Morris is a solid coordinator. Raheem Morris is a solid coordinator. But he forgot the most important thing when you play the Cardinals is you got to contain Kyler Murray. You got to, or you're going to lose. What's the number one way you lose to the Cardinals? You don't contain Kyler Murray, and you don't take away DeAndre Hopkins. Now, secondly, I thought it took way too long for them to put Ramsey on D-Hop in big situations. Because a lot of the times this year, Ramsey's been playing in the nickel spot. And it took them a long time to actually shift Ramsey to put him on D-Hop. Last year, that was the best thing that was going for them defensively when they played the Cardinals. D-Hop did nothing. Now, early in the game, he was active. He made plays. Later in the game, not so much. But it just felt like the Rams, when they needed to stop, when they needed to make a negative play, when they needed to do something to come back, they got physically manhandled, and they weren't able to step up defensively to make that play. And the Cardinals just ran the clock. And they dominated not through both sides, not through complementary football, but through just dominant offensive possession. And that's what I saw. That's what I took away from the game. Now, defense contributed as well. I thought there was a ton of tight coverage. Byron Murphy continues to be awesome and improving with a big interception in the game. I thought Jalen Thompson played really, really well. Their secondary that everybody's been saying is susceptible really played well. I mean, Cooper Kupp had his worst game of the year in this game, and he didn't look good. Van Jefferson, I will say, for the Rams, I don't think it's too much of a panic for the Rams, all right? I think the Rams are still going to be relevant. They're still going to be good. Stafford was a little off. Kupp was a little off, but I didn't necessarily think Stafford played poorly. He didn't play amazing, but I was like, when I watched that game, I wasn't like, wow, Stafford really was bad. No, it was more so that the Cardinals weren't punting. They weren't turning the ball over. The Rams couldn't cause any negative plays. They couldn't get off the field. That's why the Cardinals won, right? The difference in the game was there was a point in the game, it was 14-10 for the Cardinals, and then Sony Michel fumbles at their own 25. It becomes 21-10, and the game's over because the Cardinals weren't punting. They weren't, they had the ball for like two, 3 times in the second half. You can't win that way. So I'm not panicked about the Rams, but they certainly got to get more aggressive on defense. They got to realize when they need to put the foot on the gas, and it just felt like they were not interested in fighting for this win. After a big win over the Bucs, after they were the team fighting for that win over Tampa Bay, really looking like they wanted that game. This week, they didn't want it as bad. There was clearly a shift in focus, a shift in want to, and that's what I saw from the game overall. I was extremely impressed by the Cardinals, specifically their offense and Cliff Kingsbury's scheme and Kyler Murray, but I'm not completely going to write off Matthew Stafford, the Rams. I just got to see better in these moments. They can't let these divisional games slip, or it doesn't matter if you beat the Bucs. You might be entering as a wild card team at the end of the day. So we'll see what happens with the Cardinals and Rams moving forward. There was another game in the NFC West, and that was the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. And my main takeaway of this game was the San Francisco 49ers could have easily won this game, but the problem was they didn't capitalize when they had control of the game. And the reason they couldn't capitalize when they had control of the game, guys, they had control of this game. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, if you didn't see the game, the San Francisco 49ers at one point in this game, the Seattle Seahawks, until about 2 minutes left in the first half, had -3 yards. Yes, not 3 yards, not 30 yards, not 300 yards, -3 yards. The Seahawks had -3 yards after the first quarter, and until late in the second quarter, they didn't score a point. The 49ers were whooping the Seahawks up and down the field. Like, defensively, offensively, it didn't really matter. But they were only winning 7-0. When you're only beating the Seahawks by 7, entering the second half, and you've whooped them, like physically dominating them, you gotta be concerned. That's a problem. The biggest problem to me is the quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the answer, and I'm not sure Trey Lance is the answer either. We're going to talk about both. The problem with Jimmy Garoppolo to me is he has strengths. He's accurate. He has a crisp release, but he's very limited. He doesn't have a good deep ball. He's not very mobile, and he gets hurt a lot, and he's very unreliable. The problem with Jimmy is he's not reliable. If Jimmy were reliable, I feel like he would be a top 15 quarterback in the league. But he's so unreliable. And he just doesn't have enough upside to warrant playing him as a starter right now in the NFL. And he just completely limits this offense. Because everybody and their mom knows that the 49ers, when they're passing the ball, they're passing it in the middle of the field. And that's not because of Kyle Shanahan. That's not his fault. The play calling from Shanahan is fine. The problem is that everybody and their cat and dog know that Jimmy Garoppolo can only throw between the numbers. So what did defenses do, especially ones that have played the 49ers week after week, year after year? They know that they can only pass between the numbers, so they put everybody in the middle of the field. They clog up the zones. They play man-tight coverage. They clog it up, and they just say, you gotta complete this tight window throw for 5 to 10 yards. And you simply can't play NFL offense that way in 2021. You need explosive plays down the field in this league. It's the same problem I have with the Patriots right now and their offense. They don't let Mac throw it down the field, and they might not have the weaponry to do so. At least the 49ers have it. They've got guys that can go up and get it. They've got playmakers. They've got game changers. But the quarterback is so limited. He can't throw it outside the numbers consistently. He can't throw it down the field consistently. He can't extend plays consistently. Right? So what are you going to do as a coordinator? You can only run it so many times with your third string running back. You can only throw it in the middle of the field so many different ways until a defense figures it out. You can be as creative as you want. But if your quarterback can't make these plays, you got a problem, Houston. So, personally, Jimmy Garoppolo is a problem. And his interception in the game was extremely costly. His injury, extremely costly for the team. Because you throw Trey Lance out there. I love the quote from Michael Lombardi. Michael Lombardi said, Trey Lance is a year away from being a year away. Which basically means he is raw. He is green. He is not ready right now. And it feels like Trey Lance, obviously, his main issues are, and 49ers fans, Twitter users, want Trey Lance to get on the field. And I think there is an argument that warrants Trey Lance getting on the field because, yes, the 49ers are lacking explosive plays. Trey Lance has the arm to make downfield throws. He has the arm to make perimeter throws. But what Jimmy Garoppolo is for the Niners is accurate and consistent when on the field. His unreliability is when he gets hurt, and he always gets hurt. Trey Lance, he's inaccurate. His mechanics are wild. His mechanics are inconsistent. And that causes erratic quarterback play, which somebody like Kyle Shanahan, who loves consistency as a quarterback, which is why I still stand by him wanting Mac Jones. I still think that was a different, because there's been multiple reports since then that it's been kind of a front office decision to pick Trey Lance. But I feel like Trey Lance is not ready. So the 49ers are kind of in this situation where either way they go, they're kind of effed. They can't go either direction. They can't go west. They can't go east. They're stuck. And that's what I see from this team. They can whoop teams up and down the field for a quarter, for a half, for 3 quarters. But they could still lose because they don't have that guy at the most important position. They don't. And that's a problem, especially in a great division. You can get away with it if you're the Cowboys, if you're the NFC East. If the 49ers were the Cowboys and the Cowboys swapped with the Niners, you could get away with having Jimmy Garoppolo. But in this division, when you play Kyler, when you play Stafford, when you play Russ Wilson, you're going to lose more than you win. Because the other guy in this game on Sunday, Russell Wilson made 2 to 3 amazing plays. Like, I'm talking like unbelievable Hall of Fame plays. There was one throw where he escaped the sack, he ran to the right, and he lofted it into the end zone perfectly into the corner for Freddie Swain, I think, and it was a touchdown. Another one, he escapes the sack, he scrambles to the left for a 15 to 20 yard touchdown run. And those are plays where you can't, like, that's not drawn up. Pete Carroll and the OC didn't go to Russ and say, this is what you're going to do on the play. Kyle Shanahan can't draw that up for his quarterback, right? The Niners can't draw that up for the quarterback. The players play at the end of the day. And that's the difference in that game to me. The Niners were the better team for a majority of the day, but the Seahawks had Russell Wilson. And that was the game. All right. Next up. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Thanks, guys, for being here live late night. Appreciate you being here. Gronk, spike that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get in formation here. God, please have mercy on Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben is an iconic quarterback of my childhood. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. As a rookie, he went 15-1. Big Ben is an all-time passer. One of the most creative quarterbacks. One of the best in backyard situations. Big Ben has had an amazing career. But Big Ben is absolutely, positively done. Big Ben is done. He's finished. Ben Roethlisberger is no more. I am sorry, Steelers fans, to inform you that Ben Roethlisberger on Sunday, October 3rd, officially said goodbye to the NFL. Because, guys, Big Ben is not that guy. He is not that guy. He is donezo. He's gotta go. He is trash. And yes, it's sad to see, but he is officially washed. It's just the case. It happens to all the greats. Big Ben. I have never seen a quarterback, especially with the experience of Ben Roethlisberger, make some of the dumbest plays on 4th down that Ben Roethlisberger has made this year. In the game versus the Packers, it is 4th and I think 4, maybe 3. And Ben Roethlisberger does not look down the field, does not look down for the play downfield. Instead of coming back to the check down, the man immediately throws a swing pass, doesn't even hesitate, Doesn't even look down the field. Immediately looks to his right and throws the ball to Najee Harris. Ben, are you kidding me right now? You cannot do that on 4th and 4. You cannot throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage on 4th and 4. That is a problem. That to me tells me that Big Ben does not want it anymore, does not have it anymore, and the Steelers should have said goodbye this offseason because it's setting back their franchise. The Steelers are going to have to go hard for Aaron Rodgers this offseason because this roster is completely all in on Big Ben, and Big Ben is going to lead them to a losing record this year. They are a bad team. Their offensive line, who would have thought? Maybe a guy here, sitting here in front of you, would have said that the Steelers were going to miss the playoffs this year because their offensive line stinks. They can't run the ball. And they're trusting a has-been quarterback to carry the team. Ben Roethlisberger can't move. He can't throw the ball deep. He doesn't have the time to throw the ball deep. He can't extend plays. The offense is vanilla. It's bad. The Steelers are the most unwatchable team in the NFL, and it's in no small part because of Big Ben. The Steelers don't need a ton to turn this around, but what they do need is a new quarterback. So I'm sorry to inform you, NFL fans, and specifically Pittsburgh Steelers fans, but the run with Big Ben is done. Thank you, Big Ben, for your time in the NFL. But I do not want to see you on my television any longer. I'm sorry. Next. Justin Fields had a bounce-back game versus the Detroit Lions. And you guys know I've been somewhat critical of Justin Fields, and I'll outright say that. And I'll say, I've never felt like he was that true absolute can't miss prospect that I felt like a lot of people did, and I still don't feel that way. He certainly has his pros. I've been real about that. I've been real about his cons as well, and I think he showed a little bit of both in this game versus the Lions, but I think there was a lot more to look at in this game and be happy about if you're a Bears fan and say, like, there's no reason to not be playing this guy right now if you're the Bears from what you saw in the game versus the Lions. Are there still things that you're like, yeah, he needs to work on that? For sure, no doubt. Just as there is with every rookie, right? Like, he kind of reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. Like, he just does. Like, it's like the slow, deliberate release. Sometimes he's a little slow to go through his reads and his progressions, but his physical ability a lot of the times overcomes it. He's kind of a feast or famine quarterback. Sometimes he'll have big plays, through his legs or his arm, and he'll put the ball in a nice spot accurately down the field. He has a cannon of an arm. He can really stretch a defense with both his legs and his arm. But, sometimes he's going to go 3 and out because he misses 2 passes in a row. It hits the dirt, whatever. That's kind of the way that Cam Newton always was, and that's kind of what I feel Justin Fields is going to be in the NFL. If he ever becomes Cam Newton, that would be spectacular. But that's kind of what I see from him. And I did feel like the Bears did a much better job in this game of playing to his strengths, because last week it was absolutely an embarrassing coaching performance. This week they did better, right? They had a lot more under center play action plays for him. And when he's in play action, when he's under center, he's been a better quarterback. They did a better job with the running game. They did a better job with the passing game. Obviously, it helps playing a Detroit Lions defense that isn't very good. But he made the plays. And he didn't make a lot of bad plays, which is also absolutely crucial to winning in this league. So credit to Justin Fields. After a very bad performance, he was able to come out, put that aside, and put in a good effort versus the Lions and get the win, his first of his career. So congratulations to Justin Fields. I'll continue to watch him and see how he develops in Chicago. Next, the Chiefs' defense will cost them. The Kansas City Chiefs defense is so bad. It is so bad. I mean, it is unwatchable. It is unbearable. This defense is unbelievably bad. Like, you just gave up a 30-burger to the Eagles. The Eagles. Eagles. Jalen Hurts. Their O-line's beat up. Their best receiver is a rookie. Holy cow, the Chiefs' defense is bad. Horrific. Their defense is reminding me of that unit that in 2018, they were a historic offense. I'm talking absolutely nutty offense. Like, Mahomes had like 50 touchdowns that year. But their defense was so bad. And this year, it might be worse than 2018. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They're so unsound. They try to create negative plays on every play. They're basically praying that they sack the quarterback, they create a tackle for loss, and if that does not happen, it's just big play after big. It looks like a freaking, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It is so ugly. I gotta show you these stats right now. Because this is absolutely, I can't even. The Chiefs defense allowed 30 points. I had the Chiefs, right? I bet on them -7. That was one of my best bets. I'm saying I have never in my life sweated out a game so much where the team I bet on scored 42 points. I have never sweated out a game like I sweated out the Chiefs game when they scored 42 points and I was still worried that they wouldn't cover the game. Are you kidding me? This is more reason to bet against the Chiefs. Because if they weren't playing the Philadelphia Eagles, the other team would have covered. They are 2-2. I still have faith in them. But their defense is bad. Okay? Let's look at these stats, guys. They allowed 6 for 12 on third down, 30 first downs, 103 rushing yards, 358 passing yards to Jalen Hurts, guys. 461 total yards. 29 minutes of possession. That's bad. Spagnuolo needs to get back to the drawing board. He needs to hit the lab. He needs to do something. Because it's getting bad. It's getting really worrisome. For a team that has Super Bowl hopes, I'm not going to be picking them anytime soon to cover the spread if they're playing a decent team. Because I can't trust that defense. Next. Oh my God. You know who's coaching? You know whose defense was worse than the Chiefs this week? The Philadelphia Eagles defense. The Philadelphia Eagles defense. If you didn't even put a defense on the field, if you put no players on the field and had the Chiefs run their offense versus air, it would have been the same result as what the Eagles defense did. That is how bad the Eagles defense was. Now, granted, they were playing the Chiefs offense. It's a great offense. You got Mahomes, you got Kelsey, you got Hill, you got Andy Reid, you got all of it. And they ran the ball down their absolute throat. But, holy cow. Guys, listen to these stats and tell me there was a defense on the field. The Chiefs went 9 for 10. 9 for 10, guys. That's 90%. I honestly think if there was not a defense on the field, the Chiefs still would have gotten 9 for 10 because maybe there's a drop in there. 9 for 10 on third down. 200. They allowed the Chiefs, not the Ravens, not the Browns, the Chiefs, to run for 200 yards. They had 271 passing yards, 471 total yards, 30 minutes of possession. The Chiefs. Mahomes had 5 touchdowns. And guess what, guys? How many times do I have to come on this show, this exact damn show, every week and scream at this microphone? I scream at it. Stop covering Tyreek Hill with one human being. If you are covering Tyreek Hill with one human, you will lose the game. Period. Stop. I swear. I am disgusted. I do not know how coaches are in the NFL and draw up a game plan to beat the Chiefs and roll into a game and single cover Tyreek Hill. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing for the whole week? What are you doing? This is what Nick Sirianni's doing, bro. Nick Sirianni, get your damn highlighter out of your damn ear, visor, wherever you put the highlighter, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up your candy ass, dude. Because what are you doing? Why don't you have 2 people on Tyreek Hill? Guys, Tyreek Hill had 11 catches, 11, for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not 1, not 2, 3. Sirianni, get the highlighter out. Shine it up real nice, please. What the hell are you doing? Why do teams do this? Why? Corey, I think he's a Chiefs fan. He says, seemed to be taking away Kelsey was a bigger part of the game plan for Philly than taking away Hill, which is idiotic. Oh my God, if I see another team not cover Hill with 2 people, damn, 3 people, do it 3 people. 2 aliens, 2 lions, 2 sharks, I don't care. 2, not 1, dos, okay? Do it. I'm done with this. Stop. How many times do I have to come on the show? He's the best receiver in the league. Stop. Please. God. Oh my God. I'm going to... Why are these guys coaching in the NFL? Oh my God. Get your highlighter and shove it. All right. Oh my God. Now I got to rant about this idiot. Okay. I got something for you here, guys. I got something for you here. We're gonna do some film analysis here live on the channel, all right? I might get copyrighted for this. We'll see how it goes. But let's do it anyways, all right? Let's do it anyways. I got to pull it up real quick. Baker Mayfield, man. Baker Mayfield, dude. The Cleveland Browns are a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. Baker, what are you doing? I like you now. I thought we got past this. Why? Baker, the commercial maker, man. Stop making commercials. Maybe watch a little film. Maybe work out. Maybe work on your damn accuracy. What the heck are you doing? Watch this damn video, all right? I got it for you here, right here. I'm going to pull it up. Oh my God, man. I can't with this guy anymore. I trust him to be good, and he sucks now. All right, here we are. Okay. Got a little film analysis for you guys. All right, so this is for all the people saying that Odell needs to be traded or that Odell is washed, all right? Just watch this video, and let's watch Baker Mayfield's exquisite quarterback play in this game versus the Vikings, all right? Here's Odell down at the bottom of the screen, okay? In the slot. Watch this. Open by 10 yards. What are you doing? What? What are you doing? How do you... Baker. Look at how open he is, Baker. You're in the NFL. This guy is open by 10 yards. This in the NFL is wide the fuck open. I mean, it is that, and that is a real definition. Check in the dictionary, wide the F open, and you'll see this beside it. What the? Okay, next play. Baker! He's wide open, Baker. What the? Baker! What the fuck is this, Baker? Just put it in front of him. He's wide open. Why are you putting it behind him? It's the same route, Baker. Don't tell me you've never thrown this. Come on, man. You do this in practice all the time, Baker. Come on, bro. What is that? Okay, play number 3. Last play here. This is a touchdown if you throw it right. Baker, what are you doing? Baker! Dude, what are you doing? He's wide open. Just throw it to the cone. Throw it to the cone, Baker. Oh my God. Let's go back to this first play. This is my favorite. Baker! He's wide open! Oh my God. Oh, I'm done with this freaking guy, bro. I can't. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not supporting this guy anymore. He's not. I'm done. Finished. Now because of Baker, I gotta find where I was. Oh my God. Nick Sirianni. I wish Nick Sirianni had Baker as his quarterback. How? How are you that bad? Dude, you're in the NFL. Stop making commercials. Maybe if you made 2 less commercials per offseason, you'd be better. Please. All right. Enough of that. All right. Cleveland's defense might be starting to get it, though, which is good news. But unfortunately, they've got Baker as their quarterback, so it doesn't really matter. All right. But Cleveland defense won them the game. Baker should give them, I don't know, their favorite cake. He's got to give them a present of some kind. Whatever they like, he should be sending it to them, because I don't know what he was doing. His head was in his ass. Square up their ass. I mean, what are you doing? Anyways, Browns defense was starting to get it. I think they're starting to get it. I really like what I saw. I came a couple weeks ago after the Chiefs game. I said, oh my God, this is bad. Then I did the Texans game. This is even worse. You allowed Tyrod Taylor to have 11 for 12 completion, a touchdown. He gets hurt, which was your saving grace. Well, their defense actually is starting to play well, right? They sign all these defensive backs, and early in the year, they're playing vanilla coverage, zone coverage. Well, newsflash, guys, when you play the same defense, zone coverage all the time, it doesn't matter if you have Deion Sanders on one side, Darrelle Revis on the other, Champ Bailey in the nickel, Ed Reed at free safety, and Troy Polamalu at strong safety. It doesn't matter if you play cover 3 the whole game. But you know what happened? The Browns said, oh, we've got good corners. We've got good safeties. We can actually play some man-to-man. So what do? They play some more man-to-man. Wow. What a concept. They're playing faster now. The middle of the defense, like we always say here on the show, if the middle of your defense is fast, your defense is fast. And who is fast? The Joker. Owusu Karamoa. That guy's fast. Okay? He is the highest graded rookie in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus right now. The second round linebacker. Can I ask a question? What were the Chiefs doing when they didn't take this guy? I mean, I just talked about the Chiefs defense. What did they need? Linebackers. They didn't take this guy? Anyways, good on the Browns for taking this guy, Owusu Karamoa, who's already a beast. He plays linebacker, he plays safety, he plays nickel. He's a beast. Okay, imagine him on the Chiefs. It would help a lot, okay? But it felt like in that game versus the Vikings, they had the answers to the test. It felt like they actually studied tape this week. It felt like they actually had a game plan this week. Unfortunately, their quarterback sucked, but they still won the game because of their defense. They blitzed those PA rollouts. Kirk Cousins didn't see it coming. Of course, Kirk Cousins, when he gets under pressure, you know what happens. And it felt like Stefanski, he knew exactly what Kubiak was going to go to in certain situations. He probably helped out the defense this week and said, this is going to come here. This is going to come in this formation, this split. This is what's going to go. These are the route concepts here. This is what's going to happen on 3rd and long. This is what's going to happen on 3rd and medium. This is going to happen on 4th down. And I feel like they just knew everything that was going to come at them. The man coverage helped. The coverage helped, no doubt. Got to credit Malik McDowell, who's been an absolute stud since getting to Cleveland, rejuvenating his pro career. I thought Clowney has helped the run defense a lot this year. Obviously, Myles Garrett's a freaking animal. But, the whole defense is starting to play better. They're blitzing more on 3rd down. They're being more creative. They're being more just overall layers to their defense is just a lot better. The Browns defense might be here. And it might be here to stay. And if they had a quarterback, I'd be on the train. But unfortunately, my guy Baker is playing like he's baked. So we're going to move on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about a team, ladies and gents. And thank you guys for the comments. I got to shout out my guy John, Hot Take Hockey, who says, want Patty Mahomes in fantasy. I'll take Baker and another piece off your hands. Maybe we'll have to talk because I got to get this guy off my damn team. Anyways, stop hyping the Titans. I cannot tell you how frustrating it gets in the Bottom Line View Discord when I see these absolute idiots coming into my chat hyping up the Tennessee Titans as if they're the 2007 Patriots. Can you shut the hell up, please? The Titans blow. They suck. Can we stop? They are 2-2. They've got like one player. His name's Derrick Henry. That's it. The defense couldn't stop Corey Davis. Oh, you remember which team Corey Davis played for? Corey Davis played for the Titans. Remember? But what did they do? They decided to trade a first-round pick for 4,000-year-old Julio, who's now hurt. Who would have guessed that? Me. Julio's hurt. He's done. He's out. A.J. Brown's out. Well, you got nobody to throw to now. Jonnu's gone. Corey Davis gone. All you got is Derrick Henry. Who would have thought? Who would have thought the Titans would get hurt? And lack of depth would hurt them. I don't know anybody that watches the NFL. They lost to the Jets. The Jets. Do I even have to say anything more? They were giving up big bombs down the field. The offensive line is a disaster. I'm going to check the stat line right now. I feel like they got sacked like 5 times. I got to check this. Not 5, guys. 7 times. Tannehill was sacked 7 times by the Jets. Not the 85 Bears, the Jets. Mosley had a sack. Quinnen Williams had a sack. No, not 1, 2. His brother Quincy, I don't even know if you know who that is, had a sack. Bryce Hall, a corner, had half a sack. Franklin Myers, he also had a sack. And Bryce Huff, he didn't have a sack. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, he did. He had 1.5 sacks, actually. 7 sacks. Seven versus the Jets? You allow 7 sacks? Zach Wilson outplayed Ryan Tannehill. Their defense on Zach Wilson, without his left tackle, sacked the rookie Zach Wilson 1 time. The Titans are bad. Like, don't get it twisted. Just because they play in a good division, I was going to say, a absolutely horrific division, doesn't mean they're a good team. Just because they're the best team in a bad division doesn't mean they're good. That's not how this works. Okay? I'm not even overreacting. People were saying the Titans were going to win the Super Bowl. There were people in my Discord. Do you see where my frustration comes from? People thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. I don't even know if they're going to win the division. The worst division in the league. They lost to the Jets. Like, what? Why am I even talking about this anymore? They lost the Jets. Zach Wilson. My guy, Zach Wilson. Big baller time for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was out there and he was going like this. He was on the run. He's like, you know how when you play street ball with your friends, which I did the night before, actually. It was pretty fun. Zach Wilson was like this. You know when you're a quarterback and you go like this? That's what Zach Wilson was doing to the Titans defense. He was saying to Corey Davis, yeah, just go deep because you can run by him and I'll throw it past him and we'll score. Because the Titans defense blows. So here we go. Just go deep. Go deep, man. Go deep. He's on the run to his right. He's going like this. 60-yard bomb to Corey Davis. Revenge game. Corey Davis. Jamison Crowder helped him out a lot. He was back for the first time this year. Just a really nice, productive, reliable slot receiver to have for a young quarterback. But Wilson made some absolutely amazing plays in this game. He fumbled the snap, he picked it up, and then threw a 20-yard crosser. There were some awesome throws. If you guys just want to check out Zach Wilson's highlight tape from this past game, it was pretty impressive. And it was everything that you like to see from this guy and what people were hyping him about, coming out of the draft. So, I just think we need to give credit to Zach Wilson because, guys, his offensive scheme is the worst in the NFL. Like, the Jets' offensive scheme is non-existent. It sucks. Like, it is bad. The offensive line is bad. The weapons are kind of mediocre. But I think you can just see that this guy has talent. And I think he's going to continue to show that. Next. Cordarrelle Patterson is unbelievable. Who is this guy? This guy is a god. Who is he? Cordarrelle Patterson, the 30-year-old breakout. He's played wide receiver. He's played running back. He's played kick returner. He's a god for the Atlanta Falcons. The guy played wide receiver, caught a touchdown. The guy played running back, ran for a touchdown. The guy was returning kicks. He might make the Pro Bowl at wide receiver, running back, and kick returner. What? Who is this guy? This makes no sense. He's 30 years old. He's the second graded running back in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. He has the elite receiving grade of 92.2. That's unbelievable. He has 18 catches for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's ran the ball 27 times for 119 yards, a touchdown with 4.4 yards per attempt. He has 5 touchdowns on the year, over 400 yards. He is second in fantasy points for the running back position, only behind Derrick Henry. Cordarrelle Patterson makes no sense. How is he this good right now? He's unreal. He's carrying Atlanta. He won a jump ball. What? The guy won a jump ball for a touchdown. He gets a toss the next play. Like, he's doing everything. This guy is, like, unbelievable right now. I've never seen him play better, and he's 30. What does this even make sense? What? What the heck? Can anyone explain Cordarrelle Patterson to me, please? Like, how is he this good right now? All right. Our main event. We have to talk about the game of the year. The game of 2021. The game of 2022. The game of 2019, 2018, 17, 16, 14. Damn it. The game of the last 20 years. Not in terms of quality, but in terms of defining an era, defining a generation. Brady versus Belichick. The Bucks versus the Patriots. Brady versus Bill. Who won the war? Well, the Bucks won the game. Does that mean Brady outshined Belichick? Who really came out on top? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. We got to talk about so many different things here, so many different layers. But in my opinion, this game was absolutely a definition of the Patriots dynasty. I mean, what I saw on Sunday night was an incredibly prepared, less talented team take it to a more talented team. And the only reason they didn't win was because Tom Brady was on the other team. Okay? The less talented team had the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick. The Patriots were more prepared than their opponent. It's a lot like the dynasty. The Patriots had a couple trick plays in there, always willing to one-up their opponent. They hung in there. They were tough. They were feisty. They were well prepared. They played in tough conditions in New England. It was raining, of course. But what happened? Brady in the clutch made more plays and they won the game. I thought we saw the shining performances of what made the Patriots dynasty so special. We saw Brady in the clutch. We saw Brady make one or two bigger plays in the game than his opponent. And we saw Belichick outcoach the other team, have a game plan that was beautiful, perfect in a lot of ways, and give his team a chance to win. That was this game to me. This game defines what I've seen for the last 20 years, except the quarterback in Tom Brady was on the other team. And I think if you look at the score, 19-17, I think that was really, if you're going to do all this Brady-Belichick stuff, that's kind of the way that you divide the success of the Patriots dynasty. Brady, slightly more to do with the success than Belichick, but both need credit for the success. Because Brady and Belichick were the ultimate pairing when they were together. And I thought both of them shined here in this game. I thought Brady in the game, less kind of obviously than Bill, because a lot was made to do about Belichick's game plan and how he coached the Patriots in that game. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Brady's pocket movement in the game was awesome. I mean, I've rarely seen Brady move that well in recent years than I saw on Sunday night. I mean, he was escaping multiple rushers, blitzes, free runners. Like, Belichick got him a couple times, like with pressure, but Brady escaped. There was one versus Kyle Van Noy where he straight up made Kyle Van Noy miss on his way to move to the right. He made a throw on the run to the right to Godwin that was a game changer, right? He made a couple throws that would have sealed the game for them to Antonio Brown, but he dropped it in the end zone. And he was throwing that thing through the conditions. You guys, I've been to a game in New England when it's raining like that, the game in 2019 versus the Cowboys. Guys, it's really hard to throw the ball in that weather. And Brady, it's always hurt his stats, right? I think a big difference between Brady and Breeze and Peyton's stats for a lot of the years is that Breeze played 80% of his games in a dome. Peyton played 80% of games in a dome. Brady had to play in the cold, the freaking snow, the freaking rain. And that's exactly what it was on Sunday. Like, Brady was throwing crisply, accurately through the rain versus a good defense. The Patriots, I think, will have the best defense this year when it's all said and done. They have a good defense right now. They don't even have their best player on that defense playing for them. By the way, Matt Judon is a freaking beast. I just want to say that. But I was impressed by both teams, okay? I had a lot of takeaways from both teams. Mac Jones, man, what else can I say about this kid? He continues to impress me. His intelligence is off the charts. I've never seen a rookie the way that he controls the line of scrimmage before the play, pre-snap, getting his team in the right play, getting the checks at the line, the protections, all of it. His toughness was really on display on Sunday night. Todd Bowles came after that guy. Like, every play, Devin White down the A-gap, free hit, on Mac Jones, steps into the pocket, freaking throws a dot. Under pressure, gets smoked. Made consistent throw after consistent throw. This guy had 19 straight completions. 19 straight. That ties a Tom Brady Patriot record. Mac Jones was amazing. I thought amazing for a rookie. And I will say, for the Bucs' credit, the Bucs' offense is not conducive to play in those elements. The Bucs want to throw the ball down the field. The Bucs don't want to dink and dunk. They never do. They are a risk it, no biscuit offense. So for them to go to New England and just win the game in that condition is extremely impressive, because the team last year in Tampa would not have won that game. I promise you. No matter injuries, healthy, no matter what, they would have lost that game. The Bucs a lot of times last year played in grinded out, gritty games, and at the end weren't able to pull it out. This game, they pulled it out. They went to a tough environment, a big game for Brady, a lot of emotions. The defense stepped up when they needed to. The banged up secondary, they got everybody missing. 3 corners, a safety. It didn't matter. They stepped up. They played championship football. The Patriots ran for -1 yard. -1. And by the way, Mac Jones still survived with a -1 rushing performance from his team. But the Bucs last year, in these conditions, they didn't have the underneath offense, passing offense, to get it done. They didn't have the reliance, the patience, the overall team game and complementary football to get it done in this environment. They did that in this game. That's why I'm so impressed with the win. They were able to win that game despite that stuff, right? That's what's impressive. That's a tough game to win. Now, it's going to be tough moving forward for the Bucs to get over and to overcome these secondary injuries. But what I will say is they have a very soft schedule coming up. I'll show you this schedule reel here. Look at this. Look at this schedule for the Bucs. It doesn't get much easier than the Bucs schedule, and they could easily go undefeated down the stretch here. They're likely to slip up 1 or 2 times, but they play the Dolphins next week, the Eagles, the Bears, the Saints. Then they have a bye week. The football team, the Giants, the Colts, the Falcons. Then they play the Bills, who are good, the Saints, the Panthers twice, and the Jets. Other than the Bills game, they'll be easily favored in all, and I think they'll be favored in the Bills game as well, but they'll be easily favored by probably a touchdown in every other game that they play for the rest of the year. They're definitely going to win, I think, the next 3 games. The Saints will be tough because they know them well, but then you get the bye week, then maybe you get a little bit healthier and you get going down the stretch to build momentum for the playoffs. I think the Bucs will be absolutely fine. A lot of people are making a lot about these injuries, but I think they'll be fine. Sherman, I thought, credit him for playing 95% of the snaps in his first game with very limited practice time. Credit him. But lastly, I got to talk about the Belichick game plan. I thought this guy was absolute masterclass in a lot of ways on defense. I mean, so many different, a plethora of coverages. I mean, showing something before the snap, breaking it into something totally different after the snap. It made Brady really test his brain, test his progressions, test his knowledge of the offense, test all of those things to a very high degree. The stunts up front were superb. There were times where it was a 4-man rush, and a guy looped around the rush and got a free run on Brady, and they only had 4 guys blitzing. There were times where Brady had to get rid of the ball because nobody blocked somebody. This was one of Bill's best game plans of the last 5 years. There's been some good ones in there, the Super Bowl versus the Rams, a couple games versus the Chiefs and things like that. But this game was absolutely awesome from Bill Belichick on the defensive side of the ball. I thought the Patriots defense played very well. Their secondary played very well. Their front seven played very well. Credit playoff Lenny for coming through with a big game for them, for the Bucs. But, man, I was so impressed with Belichick. And if they continue to play this way on defense, they're going to have a chance in every single game that they play moving forward. So that allows me to ask, what are my expectations for the Patriots moving forward? And I think my expectations for New England is to be relevant, to be a team that can fight and potentially make it as a wild card team, because I think they're going to continue to get better. I think their offensive line is really going to be the X factor. If their offensive line can get healthy with Trent Brown there, they could potentially open up the run game, which will help the play action, help Mac Jones, help everything offensively, help the pass protection for Mac Jones, which could ultimately open up deep passes for them. But they get Gilmore back in week 7. It's going to be a real tough defense to go against every week. And now this is where Belichick gets better. He has 4 weeks. He sees what his team is. He sees what his identity is. And then he fixes those things and he plays towards the strengths. That's always been what Belichick's done. I think New England is going to be in every game they play for the rest of the year. Every game. They might lose, some close games, some heartbreakers, but they'll be in every game. What really we've seen through the first 4 weeks is they've been unable to come through at the end of the game. Unable to come through versus Miami. Unable to come through in this game versus the Bucs, right? But otherwise, moving forward, I expect New England, maybe they don't make the playoffs. I think they'll be in the conversation, though, because I think they're going to be there. I was impressed with them tonight. This might be a big momentum booster despite the loss, especially for young Mac Jones. So credit to both sides. As a Patriots fan and a Brady fan, I got what I wanted. I saw Belichick Brady. It was a great game to watch as a football fan. Just to see the Belichick-Brady matchup, to see what Belichick was going to do to Brady, to see how Brady was going to counter it. It was such a fun game to watch from that perspective. And it could be a big momentum booster for the Patriots moving forward, and it shows the toughness of the champion Buccaneers. So it was all I could ask for in that way, shape, and form. Now, lastly, guys, let's just break down the emerging contenders after 4 weeks. So we've had basically a quarter of the season. They added another week to the NFL's calendar this year. But now we have some emerging contenders in the NFL that I think are going to be in the mix at the end of the year to be in the conversation to get to the Super Bowl. These are the teams that you need to put a star next to for the rest of the year to see how they develop and to see how far they can go, right? In the AFC, my emerging contenders after 4 weeks, the Buffalo Bills, the LA Chargers, the Cleveland Browns, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are the 4 teams. I would not include anybody else. I don't think anybody else has a chance to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC. The Bills, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Browns. Those are the 4 teams. Now, this week, the Chargers play the Browns, and the Bills play the Chiefs. Very cool. Very cool. So we're going to see potentially the 4 best teams in the AFC go at it head-to-head this week. That's going to be very cool. In the NFC, the Bucs going to be there. The Cardinals, I think, are going to be there. The Cowboys are going to be in the mix. The Packers and the Rams. Those are the 5 teams for me. Nobody else in the NFC can make it to the Super Bowl. Not the Niners, not the Seahawks, not the Vikings, not anybody else. Those are the 5 teams. So we've got 9 teams in the NFL that could potentially make it to the Super Bowl. Those are the emerging contenders. And tomorrow, my first power rankings for the 2021 NFL season will be out by popular demand. You guys wanted it. I'll give it to you. So tomorrow, check out my power rankings to see the specific order for those teams and for every team in the NFL. But that's the show, guys. That is the bottom line for week number 4. It is Mitch. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you do Gronk spike that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV weekly reactions. Let's get some comments real quick for the next few minutes, and then I'll say goodbye to you guys. Thanks for staying up late. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all of your support over the past month. It's been a really great first month of the 2021 NFL season, and I hope to continue that strong. Thank you guys for the support. Really, really, really do appreciate this. This is, my life, so I really appreciate it, man. Deshaun says it makes it easier to defeat a Patriots team that can't score more than 17 points. That's what's holding the Pats team back. Their inability to score points. Not Mac's fault, though. Jarius says, how about the Ravens? Jarius, it was an impressive win versus the Broncos. I did the game. I watched it all. I was impressed by the win, man. Impressed by the win. Brian says, the Bills decided to use the run game against the Texans. Rob says, trade Patterson to a contender. Jason says, how about them Titans? Loved it. RJ said, yo, prime OBJ would have fought Baker on the sidelines after those missed throws. No cap. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the guy did kick a net once, so possibly. I'm sorry. Are you drowning right now, Miss MJ Ching? Any more questions? I'll stay here for another 3 minutes. If you guys have any more questions that you have for me in terms of NFL, in terms of gambling, fantasy, whatever it may be, let me know in the chat. Also, why can't Baker throw touchdown passes? I don't know, man. I don't know. He has not had a good season thus far, especially the last 2 weeks. What are my thoughts on the narrative Mac Jones outplayed Brady? I don't necessarily agree. I think Brady outplayed Mac in terms of the big throws that he made in the game were a huge difference in the game, as well as the no turnovers in the game was also a huge difference. So I think where it really mattered, Mac was more efficient. There's no doubt about it, but that was also a lot to do with the Patriots offense. Like I said, the Bucs offense is not conducive to that weather. That is not the type of game they want to be in. And they still won the game. And I think a lot of that speaks to Tom Brady and the way that he threw the ball in the game despite the conditions, as well as his movement in the pocket to escape that rush, as well as the fact that, hey, let's face it, the Patriots defense is really, really good, and the Bucs defense has a lot of injuries. So those things have to be taken into account. I thought both quarterbacks showed up on Sunday. Jason says, I don't understand why the Baltimore Ravens aren't in your possible contenders category, especially when Lamar is better than Baker. I have a lot of questions about the Ravens versus the best teams. I think their defense is susceptible. It's not as good as it used to be. I think they definitely worry me in terms of their pass rush consistently. And then their run defense isn't great. It's average. So overall, their defense is not, it's good. It's not great. Their offense, I think, their pass protection is hit and miss. Their run game isn't as good as it used to be. And the pass game is inconsistent. It's not that I don't like the Ravens. It's that I just think those teams are better teams at this moment. If the Ravens were healthy, they had all their pieces, I may put them in that conversation. I think the Ravens are just a team that are going to beat the bad teams. They're going to compete with the best teams, but I just don't see them being able to do it because of the way that they play for 3 to 4 games in a playoff stretch. I just don't see that happening. That's just my opinion on things. You can disagree with me if you like. I think the Ravens are a team that could potentially upset anybody, but I just don't think they're going to be able to pull that and string it together for 3 to 4 games. All right, guys, that is it week number 4 recap, week number 4 reaction. Again, guys, Gronk, spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It's Mitch. Thanks for watching. Check out the power rankings. Peace.